I'm currently in South Carolina, but I'm still going to do a Blockbusters review for all you guys. And we're going to be talking about Blockbuster training videos today. So since this is obviously the Blockbuster show and I have experience with Blockbusters, I even got my Blockbusters t-shirt on. I'm going to be watching two Blockbuster training videos. I've seen people do comedic reaction videos to them. I've seen people do reviews of them. So I figured it'd be kind of interesting. I mean, the first one we got is called Buster Sales, and I've actually never seen these videos before, so there's going to be a little editing jumping between when I first start it and when I finish it, and then me giving thoughts on it. So I'm going to go watch that. There's going to be a little jump cut, and then we're going to talk about it. Okay, so I just sat through the Buster Sales video, and it's corny, it's cheesy, and it definitely reeks of the 90s. The video showcases this girl, I guess she's a new employee, and it's supposed to teach you this technique of listen, act, and think.
Fantastic. That's just what I need for my collection.
Oh, what movies do you collect?
Comedies. And I'm just starting a Peter Sellers series. I really don't know much about his films.
Oh, he's one of my favorites, especially in The Pink Panther.
Oh, yeah.
Hey, why not consider renting Return of the Pink Panther?
Oh, I haven't seen that in years. Hey, great idea.
It's really weird because when we were at Blockbuster Video, we didn't get any of this. But then again, we were at a store that was basically about to go out of business, so I'm assuming they just didn't even bother with that kind of training. The girl is given the advice she needs by some magical fast talker called Buster Sales. Back in the 90s, this kind of like fast talking magical character was really popular with stuff like Aladdin with the Robin Williams genie and Michael Keaton as Beetlejuice. So a lot of people were trying to hop on that, and while he's not trying to like overly mug like those characters were, he's basically a variation of those kinds. He always pops up in the monitors with this green screen of like some frizzy like Rugrats logo effect behind him. Several of the things that the girl does includes she interacts with some guy who's trying to collect old 60s videos.
I've been to 8 video stores in the last 3 days looking for the last movie, I don't know the name, that had both Peter Sellers and Woody Allen in it.
The mother of some guy that she's really attracted to.
Well, actually, I wanted to see Sean Connery in The Hunt for Red October, but you're out.
Well, I'm sure we have some copies coming in later today. And we probably have some other Sean Connery movies.
By the way, that whole scene got like oddly personal, and I know it's obviously a script, but that felt just so uncomfortable with the stuff that Buster knows about this girl.
I know an opportunity when I see it.
Sure. Like the time Mrs. Harris's son, Brian, asked you out. And you turned him down to go to Jane Allworth's stupid slumber party.
How was I supposed to know he was that hunk friend of Tyler's with the beautiful eyes?
And the tickets to the Bon Jovi concert.
I don't want to discuss that.
It really does make you wonder, how much do you know about these new employees, Buster? How much do you know? How personal and how deep does this information about them get? She interacts with somebody who Buster refers to as Marge Simpson, mainly just because her last name is Simpson. She doesn't really bear any resemblance whatsoever to Marge Simpson. And apparently her nerd son Doug, who is not really a nerd. In fact, if anything, he feels more like a caveman that just got thawed out.
Goodbye, Marie. Parting is such sweet sorrow.
And she also interacts with this one girl that she knows, and this is where she tells her, hey, you know, if you rent a movie enough times, you can actually buy the movie so you can have it physically so you don't have to keep renting it. And she mentions that her brother is a huge fan of Star Trek.
My little brother Spike has a birthday coming up. He's a regular Star Trek maniac. He wears Spock ears to school and everything.
And earlier they mentioned with the mother of the boy that the new employee girl is really into, they mentioned something about a Bon Jovi concert.
And the tickets to the Bon Jovi concert.
That's something that's really charming about some of these old training videos, is that they try a little too hard to connect with youth, because it's clearly like higher-ups who are like going to be older people trying a little too hard to connect with some of the younger, newer employees. And I said Pokemon Go to the polls. Please like us. And you know what? One of the things that I admit was kind of cute was the little Blockbuster Video Productions logo they had. and the little BU thing in there. For any other store, the information wouldn't be that much different. It would basically just be, you know, keep the customer invested, keep talking to them, be friendly, try to convince them to sign up with one of our gift cards or something like that.
We have a great solution for customers that aren't sure about the perfect gift.
Oh, you're right. I always forget about the gift certificates until after they've left.
It's silly, it's cheesy, it's stupid, but at the end of the day, I at least hope this tape taught enough people to be decent employees at Blockbuster, or just simple, like, retail stores in general. Okay, so now we're on to the second video. It's called Driscoll and Egbert. I'm assuming this is going to be some kind of Siskel and Ebert parody, so we'll see how this one stacks up to the other one. Okay, so I just completed this one, and I was right about it being a Siskel and Ebert parody. In this film, it's actually broken down into 3 different segments of 3 different movies they review. So I'm doing a review of 2 guys reviewing 3 different videos. The guys doing the Siskel and Ebert impressions are actually pretty decent, so they were probably the best thing about it. But what I found weird is that this video, focusing on a Siskel and Ebert parody, kind of felt like it took like a back seat to the things that they were reviewing. Siskel and Ebert usually had, like, I don't know, 2-3 minute segments on television with like really short clips of the films, because when you watch Siskel and Ebert, you're there for Siskel and Ebert. It would focus more on them interacting and discussing movies. But this focused more on the skits that were parodies of the movies that they were talking about. Like, for example, one's a parody of Beverly Hills Cop.
The only gift this guy's getting is 10 to 15 years in Sing Sing. See? You're looking at a preview of his coming attractions.
Oh.
The second movie they review is a parody of artsy French romance films, complete with bad dubbing and everything.
Do you have any children, Miss Rousseau? We have a children's special today.
No! It's such a sad story!
And the third movie is, I'm assuming it's supposed to be like a romance between this little boy and this older woman who works at a Blockbuster video.
Hey, Josh, does it bother you that your friends have been kidding you about the movies I've been getting you to check out all summer?
Well, in the words of Rhett Butler, frankly, Scarlett, I don't give a damn.
Oh, my.
Another thing that confused me is that people told me this was a training video. I couldn't get a single thing about this that screamed training video. It really focused more on parodies than it did actually telling you how to work at Blockbuster. And as for like the little movies that the Siskel and Ebert parodies are reviewing, they're just mediocre. Like, they're not really that funny. They feel like, they don't even feel like they're good for like the weakest All That skits. Like, imagine the most unfunny skits that came out of All That, like Randy Quinch and the Tilt-A-Hurl and Bucket Man. Those kind of skits are way funnier than these parodies. And it's funny, while we're talking about parodying movies in a video store, this goes even beyond our show, the Blockbuster show. The Amanda Show had a skit called Blockbusters, where you had 3 people in a video store doing parodies and selling them to the public. If we could take a moment out to discuss like the little films that they were reviewing. The Beverly Hills Cop parody is mediocre at best. That's probably the best one in my opinion. That one was like the closest to funny. The French romance parody, that was just kind of whatever. Like, it was taking the most obvious jokes you can out of like artsy French romance, like people doing, you know, the bad dubbing and all that kind of stuff. And then the last one is the weirdest one to me because it focuses on the relationship between this older woman and this boy.
This story chronicles the summer in which a young teen, Josh Sanders, played by Billy Voigt, matures through his crush on an older woman.
And though never on the romantic level he desired.
Ew.
Kim Benson plays college-aged Beth Phillips, an employee of a local video rental store and the object of Josh's affection. Unaware of Josh's feelings, Beth befriends him by recommending various film classics through the summer.
But there's also this like really little subplot about the boy's friend who's really into horror movies, and they make a whole statement about, you know, oh, this is talking about the corruption of youth of today.
To say that Alfred is obsessed with horror films is an understatement. The bloodier, the better.
Addressing a subject we've discussed on this program before, graphic violence and youth viewing restrictions.
All in all, I prefer the first one because it was just a cheesy training video. This one This one just feels like a really shitty Mad TV skit. Imagine the worst, All That, Amanda Show, Mad TV, SNL skits. Imagine like the most unfunny shit on any of those programs. This one clocks in worse than those because this one just drags on, and again, it's misleading because I was promised that there would be a Siskel and Ebert parody. That takes a back seat to the movie parodies of the films that they're talking about. As a person who did film parodies while in Blockbuster Video with his friends on a shoestring budget, I'll tell you right now, like, our cheapest parodies, like our Ghostbusters parody, is way better than the films that were parodied in this video. But yeah, I like the training video a lot more. It was shorter and to the point. The other one, the Siskel and Ebert parody, just kind of dragged out and wasn't all that funny. That basically concludes this episode of the Blockbuster Show. We have a special convention vlog coming down the month, so look forward to that. I'm Adam Sykes, and we'll see you guys in the next video.